Hi, and welcome to another Memory Keeping Monday. I'm Jen Gallagher, a garden girl here at 2Ps, and today we'll be creating a layout using stamping. Now, I am doing an 8.5 by 11 layout, and we are going to start with some pattern paper from Little Yellow Bicycle. And I am loving this blue color right now, along with some yellow mixed in. So we're going to combine some papers from a couple of different manufacturers. I have also cut some paper from the Note to Self collection by Echo Park Paper, and we're going to add that to this side of the layout. We're just going to cut off the excess part, and we'll add that to the bottom of this rectangle. Then I have a border sticker from the Simple Stories collections, and I am going to add that at the bottom of the Note to Self pattern paper, and I'm going to just trim off the excess of that sticker. So we're starting to formulate some layers here. This particular sticker it's all good from the Little Yellow Bicycle collection. And we will just adhere that across the page like this. Now I have a photo of my son that I'm going to add, and I've printed it to about 2.5, 3 inches wide by about 4 inches tall, and we're going to tuck that in to the pattern paper and center that. Alright, I want to embellish a little bit on this particular rectangle, so I'm going to add some houses from Studio Calico, and I'm just going to use glue dots to hold those in place. I love these natural wooden elements we're seeing in things. And then I'm also going to add some blue buttons to this rectangle, right onto the banner sticker. Now for this side of the layout, I am going to add some paper from a My Mind's Eye 6x6 pad, and it's double-sided, and it has a very subtle honeycomb pattern to it. And I pick my pattern papers by starting with one that I particularly like, or an embellishment that I particularly like, and then I'll add other elements. I'm going to add photo squares to each of the corners of this paper. These are craft photo corners from Canson. You don't have to do this step, or you can use your digital die cut machine or manual die cut machine to cut photo corners. And that way you can cut them out of whatever color of paper that you'd like. Now in this particular rectangle, I am going to layer some chipboard die cut pieces from the same Little Yellow Bicycle collection as this paper and this banner sticker. This says, "You are beautiful." And this layout, while it isn't discussing how beautiful my son is discussing how beautiful his life is. And this one says, "Life one beautiful moment at a time." And I'm using glue dots to adhere this down. You can use whatever sticky adhesive that you like to use. Now here on this side, we're going to also use some of the pattern paper from that same 6x6 pad. This is a yellow hexagon honeycomb pattern from that same My Mind's Eye 6x6 pad. We'll just adhere that at the top. And then I have used my die cut machine to cut a die cut label from some Style Essentials paper from Echo Park Paper, and you can use a manual die cut machine. Spellbinders has some beautiful collections of shapes, as well as Tim Holtz has a few shapes, and then of course your digital die cut machine has a few shapes, and we're just going to add that to the bottom of that sheet of pattern paper. This is another chipboard element from Little Yellow Bicycle, and I've added pop dots on the back of this. And we're going to adhere that to the top of this rectangle. And it's going to stick off the page, and so when I put it in my sheet protectors, I will probably place it in a 12 by 12 sheet protector. From that same package of chipboard die cuts are lots and lots of different colors of buttons, and I've pre-tied these with gray baker's twine from Doodlebug Design. And we're going to layer these on top of that die cut, with the largest one first and the smaller one second. There are a lot of different shades and styles of buttons within that chipboard collection, and it's a great collection to add things to. Now I have some pattern paper that's also from that blue pattern paper from Little Yellow Bicycle, but this side is the brown wood grain, and we are going to trim that to match the top here. And I'm going to trim just a little bit off the bottom. You can use a paper trimmer for this too if you'd like. And we will just tuck this in the top right there. I love double-sided paper that I can use multiple ways on my layouts. So I try and collect papers that I like, both the A side and the B side, so that I can use scraps of paper later on another project using the B side or the A side again. Okay, so we'll just tuck that in. Now I have a push pin from the same Little Yellow Bicycle collection, and we're going to just stick that through the first layer of paper and then poke it back out. Now I could go through both layers, but I just stick it through there. Now I want to show you where we're going to use stamping on this layout. And in order to do that, you are going to need a stamp, and this is a butterfly stamp from Jenny Bolin Designs. You're going to need either a Versamark or an embossing ink pad, and then you're going to need some white embossing powder. And then you're going to need a sheet of vellum. And you can emboss in vellum, but there's some things you need to know. I like to use a Versamark ink pad because it tends to be a little bit more sticky than a regular embossing pad. So we'll just go ahead and stamp that right onto the vellum. Press firmly, but don't rock the stamp. If you rock the stamp, that's when you get those funny little edges around your project. Now you can kind of see the image. And then we're going to place a sheet of folded printer paper, use scratch paper, underneath the project, and we're going to generously sprinkle white embossing powder all over that image, and I've got a lot on there. Then I just dump the excess powder into the fold of that scratch piece of paper, and then I use that fold to dump all of the powder back into the container. Now, when you are heat embossing, you will need an embossing gun. And as you are embossing, do not hold the embossing gun too close to the vellum, because vellum is very fragile and it will start to crinkle and it will warp a little bit. It's going to warp a little bit anyway, but let's go ahead and give it a shot. As I emboss the image, you will notice that it will start to get a little bit darker, and after it's embossed, I'll hold it up so you can see it a little more closely. Alright, so there you can see the butterfly that is embossed. Now I have gone ahead and already done this step, and I have cut out the butterfly. You'll want to wait to do this till after it's had some time to cool off, or else you can actually smudge the embossing. And then I'm going to use glue dots just on the back here so that I can fold the wings up on the project. So just put it adhesive underneath the body of the butterfly, and then gently fold up the wings so it looks like they're kind of moving. Then I have pre-printed some journaling strips for my page. You could also handwrite these, and we're going to add them to the bottom of this butterfly. Now there are a lot of images in the store that you can emboss and add to your projects, and embossing patterns come in a lot of different colors. I suggest clear and white and black to get started. This journaling says, sometimes you have rough days and sometimes you have great days. I hope you find good even on the rough days. It's hard to be a kid sometimes. So you can add additional stamping if you want to this layout with some fun sentiment stamps from Lawn Fawn or Hero Arts or Technique Tuesday. But there you have our Memory Keeping Monday layout. For all the supplies, as well as additional photos, be sure to visit the Memory Keeping Monday section of the website at 2peasindabucket.com. Join us next Monday for a new video.